Good afternoon, class. So we will meet again in this meeting after the UTS. Today I'm using the video, learning video because I'm out of town. So to replace the attendance list, you should watch the video regarding the film project that will be part of your assessment for the film studies class. Okay, so you all perhaps already received the grade for your midterms. Um, Overall, I'm quite satisfied with the results because many of you have understood and analyzed the films in the way that it should be. Although, of course, they are not perfect, but at least you are heading toward the direction that are the right directions in how to analyze films. Of course, there are so many, uh, let's say, holes to fill, things that you can revise, as I already put in your paper as a comments. And if you receive a good grades, uh, well, keep it up because if you decide to take film as the object for your thesis, then the discussion or the analysis will be even more specific, and it will not be that similar to the one that you are doing in the film studies class. Okay, so that's about the midterm test. And for your information, that the midterm test percentage overall is not as big as the film project or the quizzes. So if you get a bad grade for the midterm test, don't worry because you still have opportunity in this final project to redeem your grade. Or if you already get a good grade, then keep it up. Okay, so go back to the film project. So I will introduce what you are going to do or you have to do for your final project. So the second half of the semester, from today, this meeting, until later on at the end, you will focus on film production, and the final outcome of this class is a short film as the final term exam. Before we go there, maybe not many of you are experienced in film productions, or probably this is your first time making film. So I would like to introduce you to what person involved in a film production. So who's who in film production. And when you make film, then you will have to follow certain stages, which is quite universal. Anywhere people making movie, they usually will go through these stages of film production. So you might want to as well follow the stages to make sure that the film production process runs well. So the first is development, the second is pre-production, the third one is the production, the fourth is photography, and the fifth one is a wrap, and then closed by post-production. So we will discuss these stages of film one by one briefly. And of course, we are not going to do the seventh one because this relates to the regular films that are going to movie theater, but we are not going to do a distribution. Okay, so the first stage is development. This is probably the most important part because without development, you will not start any film production. So development is where all the ideas are born and also developed into story and then casting and then production and so on. So basically, in the development stage, uh, includes planning and conceptualizing a script. Movie needs a script, of course, whether your movie is adapted from a book, from another film, a true story, or original concept. So this is another thing that you can consider. So you can, let's say, make an original story of your own. That's fine. If you want to adapt from a book, it's okay as well. If you want to adapt it from different films, that's fine. Or if you want to make a story based on a true story, then it is okay also. So you have a lot of things to consider with your team in regard to the script and what kind of genre, what kind of story that you want to develop. And once you all are in agreement, so then you decide, of course, who's going to be the director, and then who's going to start writing the script, and then also when scheduling everything. So basically this is the initial steps of your film production. So it is an outline of how the film will be made step by step. And the second stage, after you decide on all the narrative and script and the director, we are moving into the stage called pre-production. In this phase, the main objective is to narrow down the film development options and plans in the context of cast, crew, and budget. So after you finish with all the script, then of course you want to start, all right, who's going to be whom? I mean, because we are not professional, then of course you are not going to hire professional actors here, but at least you have to do some casting. uh, let's say if you need more personnel, you can always find someone from outside the film studies class. So it's not constrained only for students inside the film studies class, but if you need more crew, you can recruit, ask for help for your friends outside film studies, whether it is as an actor, actress, or as a crew. And probably because we have no budget here, so you want to minimize that by, being economical in terms of making your films. Of course, no special effect, no fancy costumes or makeup. It's just as simple as you can, as economical as you can. And in professional filmmaking, of course, a production manager usually will be recruited to create a schedule and manage the film's budget. So maybe you can also do this when you already have a director and you need someone who deals with casting and then create a schedule and then manage film budget. So this person is called the production manager. This phase also includes looking for locations for shooting. So after you decide on script, cast, crew, everything, budget, scheduling, then okay, now let's see where we can shoot the location, what location where we should use for shooting. So that's the second stage. And the third stage is the production stage. The production stage is when the actual production of the film begins. The main target is for the process to run according to the specified budget and schedule, because if you are on tight budget, you don't want to delay or cancel a shooting because something because if you delay just for one day, then there will be more budget to fill, yeah, because you lose a day. The director here works closely with the entire cast and crew to ensure everything goes according to plan. So who brings what, and then what time that you should meet, where to meet, what to bring, and then what part to shoot. Everything has to be clear so that when everyone is on the spot, everyone knows what to do. So communication here is the key for all parties concerned. No miscommunication, yeah. So do not let someone, oh, is it today? Oh, I don't know. I cannot do it today. That means that communication is bad. So communication and commitment. And the next stage is the photography. So this is the most expensive phase in film production, um, because it relates to the salaries of actors, actresses, directors, and so on. But of course, we are not professional again, so we are not paying everyone, yeah, because we are doing this for the sake of the course of film studies course. So all previous phases are to ensure a smooth transition from photography. So this phase is when the camera actually starts recording. So it is very important for the director to follow the available schedule and budget. So the stage photography is the actual moment when the director says action. So that is in this stage. And the next stage is wrap. This phase refers to a period after shooting is finished and all cameras has been returned. So never say, if you're a director, never say it's a wrap in the middle of taking a scene, because it's a wrap is a, let's say, is a magic word, yeah, only can be said when the film shooting is done. If when you're shooting the last scene in the last day, and when it's done, then you can say it's a wrap. It means that there's no more shooting, the film photography is done, yeah. So this is where the stage is. So it's a wrap only can be said at the very end of the shooting of the whole film. So in this stage, everything is dismantled. Maybe if you borrow a costume, you return the costume, the camera is returned, and then the background and everything is cleaned, the props are returned, and so on. All equipment needs to be stored back, because you know, when we talk about movie production, it's usually using a expensive camera, so it has to be returned to its safe place, and there needs to be an inventory list. uh, do not let it, I mean, let's say someone asking, oh, where's my camera, oh, where did you put my things, blah blah blah, that means that there's something wrong with the inventory. So you have to make sure everything is arranged well. And then the post-production, the last thing that you need to do is the rough. You are going to be an editor, so this is where the actual film process is done, because the photography is just taking raw material, right? But you shoot this scene, that scene, that scene, that scene, and then it's still not a film. But when you go into the editor table, then it will be turned into a real film that people can enjoy. So this is a phase where the rough cut of the entire film will be watched, and then the director will choose which one to use, which one to cut, which one to delete, and so on. And then what kind of effect, transition, lighting, and then also sound effect put inside. And there are so many apps that you can use for free in the internet, so just choose one that is more comfortable to you, because I think most apps are pretty much the same in terms of their display. So once you are familiar with one apps, if you move to another apps, probably you're not going to be it's not going to be difficult for you to familiarize yourself with the new apps. So there are so many, choose wisely which apps to use in editing your video. So this phase includes involving sound design, music, other visual effects, coloring, transition in between scene, so the thing that makes the film beautiful. And don't forget, if you are using copyrighted materials like audio or video, put it at the end of your credits. Yeah, usually after the films there are credit titles about the director and so on and so on. And if you put some songs which is copyrighted, you should put the songs and who composed the song and so on. All right, and the final stage, which is not going to be done by you because this is for product distribution, is the final stage of the film production process. Films need to be distributed by producers to generate revenue. Of course, making movie means making money. This is where the role of producer is to be able to come up with a deal for film distribution to cinemas or other platform like the OTT, Netflix, Disney Channel, Amazon Prime, HBO, etc. Another important thing is that the agreement that is made must be correct, because this will affect the reach of the film and how much income will be obtained as a guarantee of the return of the initial investment plus profit. Okay, so those are the 6, 7 stages where you probably only do 6 of film production. So if you follow those stages, maybe you will have a smooth film production process. And as an example, these are some flop high budget films. So if you know that Hollywood's budgets usually are high, and there are some films with high budget, but it didn't do well when it was released. For example, King Arthur. This film in 2017 has a $175 million production budget, and it just flopped. So it is just a loss. So they lost $150 million. Imagine that. And then Lone Rangers. Usually Johnny Depp films are good, and they are well received, but in Lone Ranger is one of the flop film in 2013. The production budget is a whooping $225 million, and it lost like $98 million. So the revenue is less than 200 million, so it's lost. And on the other hand, there are some low budgeted film that can turn into box office. For example, the famous one is the Blair Witch Project in 1999. It only has a $60,000, and it creates profit of whooping $246.8 million. Imagine how many times the profit. So this is one of the rare thing to occur in film production. Yeah, less than $100,000, and it creates $240 million. Another one, Star Wars. At the beginning, it was not to be expected as box office, because the premise of the story is probably unfamiliar at that time. But then, of course, we know what happened. George Lucas, in 1977, the budget is 11 million, which is big at that time, and the profit is like almost 80 times. So this is a crazy example, and Star Wars is still alive to this day with all its uh, franchise and different stories that rooted in Star Wars. So this is one of the most successful example of filmmaking with low budget. So that is also why the movie business is so lucrative and risky as well. You can be a millionaire just with one movie, but with the same movie you can also lose millions of dollars. So that's why, if you have money, you probably want to spend it on film production, or probably becoming a producer, because uh, if you profit, then it just, yeah, you can be rich, because in just one film you can get millions of dollars, or maybe in Indonesia is hundreds of millions of rupiah. So let us continue to more specific things to know about your film project. Alright, so for the film project, it is a group work, and the group can be your existing one, or if you need more personnel, you can ask for help from other students inside or outside the film study class. and the duration of your film is about 10 to 15 minutes, which I think quite long. It can be considered a short film. So it sounds short, but when you're making films, it will be quite uh, lengthy in the process. So prepare the duration around that 10 to 15, around 15 10 to 15 minutes. As for the genre, it is your choice. It could be animation, experimental, documentary, or just the regular fiction. Can be comedy, tragedy, romance, horror, historical, whatever is your choice. And as for the content, we expect that there is no racism, discrimination, drugs abuse, or sexual content in the film. But if you want to use those topic as your main premise of the film, then you can consult me on the content. Yeah, so it is still possible, but with the, of course, good intention on why you're showing that. And when you're done, there will be some report. Yeah, so you have to make a report on at least the what is story about, and then what is the process like, and also the clear description of each member's task and responsibility, so that I can assess you fairly. Okay. um, Next, if you use copyrighted visual or music, you must mention in the end credit of the film, because if you do not do it, then let's say you upload it on YouTube, usually the YouTube will take your video down if they detect that you are using copyrighted materials without permission. And if you want to shoot at campus, let me know, because usually you will need permission if you take some location not inside our faculty, then you will need some kind of permission. You can also be creative. Movies not always in horizontal way, but with the ubiquity of handphone today, there are a lot of movies that is vertical. Like of course, now the pandemic is over, so no social distancing, but you still can do some experiment in the way you record your film. And as for the camera, of course, it's your freedom. Of course, each kind of camera has its consequences in terms of quality, of course. If you have a DSLR camera or a handphone, a good one, then you can use whatever camera you have. And as I said, vertical cinema is also an option. If you use a handphone, just like a TikTok, everything is vertical, but it takes more strategy and also tricky, yeah, to shoot a vertical film because of the limited width of the film. It's vertical, so it's more vertical in terms of uh, how you take the picture will be important, because vertical means you have to consider the space and framing and so on. And as I said before, you can choose whatever editing apps you can find or you are familiar with to process the film that you made. And the aspects which will be assessed is the quality of the cinematography, of course, editing, sound, story, acting, or basically everything. So we will screen the movie during final term. So we will have sort of like a short event, yeah, of film competition, but not film competition, more like a film festival where all the films are screened, and maybe we will also watch some films from previous classes. Yeah, if there are some, let's see what happened later after you finish your film project. So as a conclusion, I'd like to quote from Disney, who said that the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. This is true, I think, not only for filmmaking but for everything that you're gonna face in the future, because uh, what's important is not just talking but doing, yeah, acting, because if you just talk then nothing will be accomplished, but if you start doing something then at least you're moving somewhere. Thank you. So I hope the final project film production is clear. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will let you know when to meet again, maybe next week on site, to just discuss more specific detail and also to talk about your plan on film production. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.